At a church in Ethiopia's Tigray region, watchman Maru Gabramariam walks through rows of recent graves. But many of those buried here can't be identified. Some, he says, lay out for days before being brought to be buried. Others were eaten by dogs. This is Mai Kadra, the epicenter of waves of ethnic killings that have spread across western Tigray. It's a region of rich farmland where Tigrayans and ethnic Amharas once lived and worked side by side. But conflict has turned neighbour on neighbour. Shortly after fighting broke out between Ethiopia's military and the Tigray People's Liberation Front in early November, conflicting reports of killings emerged from Mai Kadra. Amharas said they were attacked by Tigrayans. Tigrayans who fled across the border to Sudan said they had been driven out by Amharas. Through more than 120 witness accounts, Reuters has pieced together what happened and the chain of events it unleashed. It began on November the 9th. That's when, according to Amhara residents, Tigrayan youths, supported by Tigrayan militiamen, went door to door in Amhara neighbourhoods. They arrived at Hagari Mogasi's home at 4 p.m. and called for her husband Abiyu Sagai.
When he emerged, they hit him with a machete. They hit him with sticks. He was hit by the sticks and then with a bullet. The one named Captain, standing from there, he shot him from there. And then after that, a machete to the head. His arms too. They cut him and put him in the fire.
A spokesman denied the TPLF had targeted Amhara civilians in Mai Kadra. The next day, the Ethiopian military and regional Amhara forces arrived. By then, the Tigrayan fighters had fled. Later that day, Tigrayan residents said, reprisal attacks began. Most were carried out by Amhara forces and an Amhara defense militia called the Fano, according to 28 Tigrayan former residents. Many of those interviews were conducted in Sudan, now home to more than 60,000 Ethiopians who fled the violence in Tigray. Western Tigray's Amhara-appointed administrator said any accusation that Amhara forces killed Tigrayans is groundless and far from reality.
99% target መተናል.
Ethiopia's government denies there has been targeted, intentional ethnic cleansing against anyone in the region. But there have long been tensions in western Tigray between the once politically dominant Tigrayans and the Amharas, Ethiopia's second biggest ethnic group. Amharas claim western Tigray as their own as far as the Tikezi River. It's there that Bahani Gebrigzahir, a Tigrayan, recalls lying in a ditch, listening to the cries of the dying fade away. That was in mid-January. He says he and more than 50 others had been rounded up, driven to the river, and shot.
Fragmented bones.
Bahan was faced with a choice: die in the ditch or drag himself to the road. He chose to live. The number who have died from both sides remains unclear. In Mai Kadra, at least 767 people were killed according to two lists of victims, one Amhara, one Tigrayan, which was reviewed by Reuters. The Amhara regional government says it has now taken control of western Tigray, and its representatives plan to resettle 500,000 Amharas there. Goshu Alabel arrived in the town of Humera, north of Mai Kadra, in late November.
I feel good, I feel good because I came back here after so many years to my birthplace.
When Reuters visited the area in March, street signs had been repainted to the Amharic language. Many Tigrayan villages have been destroyed. And on one gate in Mai Kadra, words in Amharic have been graffitied. This is ours.